Mike Tyson once said, "I want to eat his children, all praise be to Allah." Creative people always seem to be doing one thing: talking. Creative people always seem to be talking out loud, making funny sounds, saying funny things, doing funny voices, coming up with different characters, just doing weird things out loud. And normal people don't do that. Why is that? Why do creative people do all this weird talking out loud to the point that it could annoy people in their vicinity, and normal people who aren't creative don't do it? It's because creative people speak their way to the answer. That's what creativity is. It's speaking your way to the answer. If you keep it all in your head, it's never going to come out in a creative way. It's going to be stuck up here. It's going to be muddy in your head. You have to speak your way to creativity. That's why creative people are always talking out loud, doing funny voices, singing parts of songs, doing different things like that, always doing wacky things, because you speak your way to creativity the same way you speak your way to the answer. You also speak to get energy. You also speak to maintain and get energy. That's why creative people always seem to be energetic, don't they? They're always speaking and they're always energetic. And then the people around them are not speaking, they're not saying anything, and they're not energetic. Why? Speaking your way to the answer, speaking your way to creativity is how you get creative, and it's how you get the answer. It's how you rise above. It's how you transcend. Speaking is how you transcend. That's why the greats speak, and that's why silent people aren't great. All the greats speak. All the greats speak their way to the answer. That's what a rant is. A rant is a creative person speaking his way to the answer. That's all a rant is. A rant is finding out for yourself the answer by speaking the words. And by the end of the rant, everything makes sense. When you say things out loud, when you think things, things don't make sense. You think, what's the answer? What's the answer? You think them. Then when you speak them out loud, what do you always say when you speak them out loud? Oh, now that I say it out loud, it makes perfect sense. So if you want to be a creative person, here's what you do. Start speaking. Start speaking everything. When you hold it inside, what happens? When you hold it inside, what happens to you when you hold it inside? It eats you alive when you hold it inside. Why are creative people always up and ready to go with energy and full of pep? Because they're not holding it inside. They're speaking their way to creativity. They're speaking the words. So if you want to be creative, speak the words. If you want to be a nobody, turn your mouth off. Question: I read NWR. I know what it is I want to do, but it seems like there's a big pathway ahead of me. Should I ignore it? No. You should let the pathway stop you, and you should just do nothing. Of course you should ignore it. There is no big pathway ahead of you. That's all in your head. When you say the words, there is no big pathway. When you think about it, there's a big pathway. Stop thinking about it. There is no pathway in front of you. There is no obstacle. There is no such thing as an obstacle unless you think there is. So don't think about it. There is no obstacle. Walk forward. You get it. Ignore any obstacle. Obstacles do not exist. That's why you ignore them. When is the BBQ? We're going to have the BBQ very soon. We are finding the right place for the BBQ. Now, if you don't know what the BBQ is, at the end of 2015, I said if Donald Trump was elected president, I would hold a bold and determined barbecue in Los Angeles, and I will. I knew that Donald Trump was going to get elected a year before he got elected, and I've been planning this for over a year, and it's not really a Trump barbecue. What I'm actually looking for is soldiers. What I'm actually looking for, if you want to know the truth, I'm looking for executioners. You see, I'm building an army, and I need executioners. Many people come to me and they say, I've got a great idea. Can I tell you about my great idea? Oh, I'm really good at ideas. Ideas are nothing. Ideas are shit. I have 10 ideas per hour. If you have ideas, but you don't have a body of work to back it up, you are not a creative person. You are not an entrepreneur. You're not nothing. You're shit. You're shit. If you don't have a body of work to back up your ideas, you're nothing. So the people who come to me and say, hey, I've got an idea. Can I tell you about my idea? If you promise not to steal it, I don't want your shit idea. I want executioners. You see, I get ideas. I get 10 ideas per hour. Ideas mean nothing without execution. Without execution, ideas mean nothing. I have a proven body of work that shows I am an executor of ideas. If you don't have a proven body of work, you are not an ideas man. You are a nobody. So ideas are shit. Execution is what matters. Ideas come and go, come and go, come and go. Ideas are the easy part. So when you come to me and you say you're an ideas man, you're coming to me and saying, I can do the easiest thing in the world. I just can't do anything else. Well, great. Don't have any fucking use for people who can't do anything. Anybody can have ideas. The hard part is in the execution. The execution. There's no white noise filler in this podcast, is there? This podcast is called the Full Color Godcast. And I don't put any white noise. You don't hear me at the beginning saying, oh, this podcast is sponsored by whatever. You don't have any white noise. Regular people need white noise to feel comfortable, but I rob them of that. I don't want regular people to feel comfortable because I don't want regular people. I want exceptional people. Exceptional people are executioners. That's what I want. That's why there is no white noise filler in this podcast. The Full Color Godcast is just like New World Ronin. Every single podcast, every single episode, there is 100 ideas for you. I told you ideas are the easy part. Execution is the hard part. That's why there is no white noise filler in this Godcast. I don't have time for the fucking filler. I have too many ideas, and I've got to get the ideas out. All right? Do not have time for the white noise filler. And the white noise, when you take away the white noise, you take away the normal people, and you're left with the exceptional people, the executioners, which is what I want. Moving on. Do you batch create content and drip release it, or do you release it as you make it? This is all real time. I record these daily and I post them daily. This is all real time. You watch me in real time. This is all happening in real time. Now, before this switch, I did create a bunch of content before, and then I drip released it, and I scheduled it and dripped it out while I was working on this stuff I'm doing now. While I was planning this stuff, I still had content going out, but I wasn't really writing it. I had already written it. It was already done. I just released it. I scheduled it and released it. Now, this is all real time. You ask me questions on Twitter or Instagram, I answer them the very same day. The video, the audio is up that very same day. You watch me in real time. That's why I tell you to come back every day, because you're watching in real time. You're going to see what happens in real time when you put yourself in motion, when you speak your way through the answer, when you follow the code of the NWR. Do you still take modafinil? No. You speak of a warrior mindset. Are you involved in any combatives at the moment? I don't really know what that means, but I always have conflict scenarios in my head. Conflict never happens to me ever. It never does. But I'm always prepared for it. Always. I always have a plan of attack and I always have a plan of escape. At the gym, I always have a plan of attack if somebody wants to step to me. I always know what I'm going to do. At the beach, if it's dark, if I see two people walking down and they look shady, I have a plan of attack. I know what I'm going to do. I know if the shit hits the fan, I know what I'm going to do. I always have a conflict scenario planned out in my head. And conflict never happens to me. It literally never happens to me. I am never in conflict, but I am always prepared for it. I'm always calm like the Buddha and still ready to kill like Buffalo Bill. And that's why conflict never comes to me, because I'm totally, completely prepared for it at all times. I'm always situationally aware. I'm always paying attention to what's going on, and I always have a plan of attack. I always do. I always know what I'm going to do. I plan it out. And sometimes I wish it would happen, but it never does. So, moving on. Are you getting back to the iTunes podcast? No. This is the Full Color Godcast. What is this shit about iTunes? You're here for me. You are here for me. I'm not here to promote iTunes. I'm here to show you the way. I'm here to teach the Ronin the way to become self-made and self-paid. I'm here to bring you out from the cold. Fuck your iTunes. Fuck your iTunes podcast. iTunes makes it too easy. I want to make it hard for you so you appreciate it. If it's too easy for you, you won't appreciate it. If it's a new podcast on your iTunes, you're going to have 10,000 of those fucking things every single day. All right? It's not going to be appreciated unless I make it hard for you. So, am I getting back to promoting iTunes? No, I'm not. This is the Full Color Godcast. You go to boldanddetermined.com daily to listen to this. That's the only place you go. You hear me? You go to Bold and Determined Daily for my real-time content in which I show you the way to become self-made and self-paid and serve a higher purpose. Next, what is your favorite movie? I'm not going to tell you my favorite movie, but I will tell you one of my favorite movies, which is First Blood, Rambo First Blood. I probably watched that movie 100 times. That's the movie really that just made me want to go be a Ronin. I wanted to go live in the goddamn jungle more than I wanted to work in an office. I wanted to be like Rambo. I wanted to go live in the forest, live on my own with a big knife. Yeah, I watched that movie a lot because Rambo, he didn't take no shit from anybody. He was free, he was on his own, and that always spoke to me. That always spoke to me. Shout out to Sly Stallone for making Rambo. What camera mic do you use? This is the Shure SM7B. The camera is the Canon Vixia HF G40, and the interface is the Apollo Twin. The interface is how you get the sound into the computer. All right, you can't just plug a microphone into the computer. The microphone needs a preamplifier and then needs an interface to get into the computer. And I use the Apollo Twin interface. I will link this in the article. If you want to start a podcast, I will link all of this stuff that I use. There's a lot that goes into it. For example, this microphone arm. So I'll link all this stuff in the podcast if you want to know what I use. Do you or have you used drugs to elevate your creativity? Example, marijuana. What does marijuana do? What does marijuana actually do? It gets people talking. It gets people talking. What is the code to creativity? Talking. So what does marijuana do? It gets you to talk. So if you can find a way to just talk and you don't have to be high, you get all the benefits of creativity and none of the drawbacks of being high. And we've got a special little formula called Red Monkey, which features a product called Finibut, which is something that kills social anxiety and lets you be a motor mouth. This is the number one thing I use. Red Monkey. This is my baby. I worked on Red Monkey for so long because I've understood the importance of speaking for so long. And I had a problem with speaking for so long because I was so stupid in the brain from not breathing. So I fixed it. I didn't just live with it. I developed a product that allows people to speak but not be high, not be drunk. What is the Joe Rogan formula for the podcast? What is his formula for success on the podcast? Just get high and talk. That's the Joe Rogan formula. Just get high and talk. I don't like being high though. So just talk is my formula. Yes, I have used marijuana. I have not used LSD. I've not used any of the other ones. I've not used ecstasy. I've not used anything else. I've not used. I've used marijuana. I've used all the smart drugs. I've used steroids and nothing else. Next question. When you revived Nick Kelly, did you wish he was a sidekick to Victor the entire time, or did V-Pride need 100% control to succeed? This is a weird question, you see. They're me. They're not two people. They're obviously not two people. It's a different name. But when you brand yourself, when I branded myself around the name Victor Pride, it limited me, you see. It's not as though Victor Pride was Batman and I'm Bruce Wayne. It's the other way around. Nick Kelly is bigger than Victor Pride. Victor Pride was limited. He could only do content in a certain way. He could only do content that fit his brand. Well, my brand is whatever the fuck I want it to be, you see. So Victor Pride, I don't regret anything. What I built was great. What Victor Pride did is great. What Bold and Determined is great. But it's time to move on. Like David Bowie, I don't play the same character over and over and over. You've got to move forward. You've got to move on. Now it's time to let the real power out. To let the real power out. Black music versus white music. All the high energy music today is black music. I find myself every time I listen to white music, it robs energy. When I listen to black music, it builds energy. I noticed this happened starting in the 90s. You see 80s hair metal builds energy. That's good music that builds energy. But today, there's no white music that builds energy. It's all depressing. It's all sad. It's all energy draining. So I'm going to make it a point to listen to only black music or to 80s hair metal. And here's a funny thing I noticed. Here's a funny thing about black people. This is how black people hit on females in songs versus how white people hit on women in songs. This is going to be Biggie versus Def Leppard. Biggie would say, "I love it when you call me Big Papa." Def Leppard would say, "Do you take sugar?" And I think this is probably a reason why white music turns so fucking faggy, because there's no goddamn balls in it. Do you take sugar? No, I love Def Leppard, but that's a fucking faggy thing to say. There's no nuts to it. The only music that has any fucking nuts is black music. We're going to take that back, though, white people. Shout out to black people for making high energy music. We're going to take it back, though. We're going to build some high energy music, and I need some builders. I need some executioners to develop the sound. You see, sound by itself, a voice by itself is okay, but I want sound underneath it. I want it to build. I want a good beat underneath it, and I need a good sound executioner. This is a call to all the sound executioners. If you are a sound executioner, get at me. Advice on making friends in your 30s. He says, "I'm free, I have time, I have money, I travel, but I'm always alone." Okay, this is what you do. If you're always alone, how do people find you? How would people find you? In this year, how would people find you? They would find you online, okay? So what you do to make friends in your 30s, you create a website, you create a social media account, and you express your personality through the website. You attract the people you want to attract. You attract the people like you. There are a million billion people in the world who are in their 30s, who are free, who have time, have money, who always travel, and are alone. They're called Ronin. So what you do is you put yourself out there. You put your personality out there, and you attract all the other people that are like you. And then what happens? You all become friends. You all become builders. You build something great together. You build something bigger than all of you put together. It's like Mike Tyson once said, "I want to eat his children. All praise be to Allah." See you next time.